What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to have a look at the GoPro Hero 7 and I've got the black edition. Let's do it. So I must say that when I first looked at the GoPro Hero 7, especially the black edition, I was really intrigued and I really wanted to get my hands on it. So I did, I went to the shops and I bought it. The only thing though is that on the GoPro website, it says that it comes with an SD card. If you don't buy it off their website, you won't actually get the SD card. So if you do go to one of the retail shops and you buy one of these, it won't come with an SD card. There were a few features that really intrigued me, but one of the biggest ones I think was the Hypersmooth video. Being able to get smooth, or what they call gimbal-like footage, was really hard out of a GoPro, and I've always thought of the GoPro footage to be quite shaky, and you always had to fix it in post. So the idea of Hypersmooth video really intrigued me. Along with that, I did want to have a look at the time-lapse video, the slow motion capabilities, the audio capabilities, and also whether or not it could replace a vlogging camera. A lot of people are saying that this could potentially, and I think GoPro is saying it as well, that you could use this as your vlogging camera. So I did get a chance to test this camera out, and I had a project that came up which required me to drive 4 hours down to Bateman's Bay. Now Bateman's Bay is about 4 hours or over 4 hours drive from Sydney, Australia. So that was a great opportunity to test out the time-lapse capabilities and see what the footage actually looks like. On top of that, I did test out the Hypersmooth video, tested out the audio to see how it stacks up with other cameras, and a little bit of slow motion. So check it out, here's a bit of B-roll. Here's a little sound test, just to check the sound, see what it sounds like. I'm in the car, this is inside the car, and just arrived at the beach house. Let's check it out. I'm gonna grab the gear and load the house. Hopefully the sound and the audio test, I'm outside now. There's a little bit of a breeze, but I think it's actually not too bad. Look forward to seeing and hearing what it sounds like. Woo. Nice. Alrighty, I'm here by the rocks, and I just want to do some Hypersmooth tests. I'm going to walk along some rocks, maybe a few jumps here and there, and let's just see how this handles the gimbal-like Hypersmooth feature. Here we go. Alrighty, for this one, I'm going to put the GoPro in my mouth and I'm going to walk and run straight ahead. Let's see what it looks like. So it's looking pretty good. I'm at the view, not too sure about the footage. See how the audio kind of holds up. Maybe it's a little bit windy, you do get the sea breeze. I'm wanting to see how good that audio is as well. But I must say, having a look at some of the footage, that's pretty impressive what you can get out of this little thing. So I'm gonna finish off this little test with a beautiful sunset here in Bateman's Bay. I've done pretty much all the tests that I was looking for. The Hyperlapse, or the video time-lapse feature, the Hypersmooth, what they call the gimbal-like, or no longer needing a gimbal. Also kind of the image quality, the picture quality. I did take a few HDRs just to kind of see what the quality is like. Also the audio and the wind test when you're outdoors, how good is the audio? I haven't used any other microphones except the inbuilt GoPro microphone, so I'm really tempted to see and to hear, to listen to what it actually sounds like. So back to me in the studio. And we're back. For some of the footage, which I actually thought was hyper smooth, didn't really turn out smooth. Kind of when I went from inside the car to outside of the car and changed locations, I think it might not have been able to track the actual motion and stabilize it. But when you set it up in an environment, it works really well. There was some footage of me walking, running, point of view angles, and also selfie angles. And I must say, I was really happy with how the footage actually turned out, and also how smooth, straight out of this camera, the footage actually looked. And just quickly, with the time-lapse video, I think it turned out exactly how I thought it would turn out. It works well, the footage is stable, and with that extra resolution, you can do things like zooming into your footage, or maybe panning across your footage as well. On the topic of slow-mo, as you would expect, the slow motion works really well. Whether you're shooting 50, 60, 120, or 240 frames per second, the ability to slow things down is a great advantage. Here's a quick look at some of the footage, and one of them was shot at 240 frames a second. The only thing though, when you shoot at 240 frames per second, it only works at 1080p. All the other resolutions like 2.7K and 4K don't actually work at 240 frames per second. So what about the audio? I must say there's a huge improvement from the previous GoPros. I've got the 2, the 4, and the 7. Now in this lineup, obviously I've only got the 2, the 4, and now the 7. The 7 really takes on a whole new level of audio. GoPros aren't really known for the audio quality, but I must say this version 7 has really done a good job. It is clear, but I think the most important thing is that it is usable. There was one section in time where there was quite a lot of wind, and when I was talking, you could hear that in the audio being picked up. I think the key word for the audio is usable. It is usable audio now, and that can be really helpful for the different types of filming that you want to do. A lot of talk and discussion is about whether this little camera can replace the vlogging or the vlogging style cameras. And I think the biggest thing is it depends what you're shooting. I think for me personally, it's great for those B-roll shots or maybe those cutaway shots. But for a main camera and to vlog with this as a main camera, I'm not too sure yet. I think there are a few things for me that I would consider, for example, the audio and also the video quality. So I'm gonna test it out right now. I'm gonna hit record and I'm gonna film with my 6D Mark II, which is right in front of me. I've also got audio right here and you can kind of see that with the GoPro. But then I'm gonna switch right now to the GoPro and you can hear the audio quality. You can also see the footage and the difference between this and this. And the depth of field, the way that the camera picks up skin tones and colors, looks quite different. But having said that, this camera is pretty good. Back to the main camera. I think where GoPro is going with this is fantastic. It is a little bit hard to replace your bigger cameras for something smaller like this when it comes to the look, the feel, and also the settings that you can dial in. So after all of that, my thoughts on this is that I think it's a great camera to kind of bring with you wherever you go. If you want to take a quick shot of something, or maybe you're traveling for work, you don't want to lug around a big camera or a big DSLR, then this GoPro Hero 7, the black edition, will do you just fine. A few quick things that I think can be improved is the speed of the interface. I think the user interface has improved, but I think the speed of it, so when you actually go through the actual menu and you flick through it, it does have a little bit of lag and you're not too sure whether or not that swipe actually worked or that pressing of the button actually worked. But that's my only real concern. But besides that, I've bought one to have with me, to carry with me wherever I go. If I want to capture something, then I've got this little guy with me. Well, I think that's it at the moment that I want to talk about the GoPro Hero 7, the Black Edition. Again, the biggest thing that I wanted to test out on this thing was the Hypersmooth video. All the other features are great and it is a step up. So if you're thinking about maybe purchasing one or getting one for yourself, I think it's definitely worth the money for what you can get out of it. It's so small. Well guys, I hope you found that helpful and useful. And if you did, go ahead, like and subscribe to this channel and I'll see you at the next one.